All right, guys,
The
watch
15
this.
that this.
This was one of the most profound videos I've seen so far. I've seen a few of them, but this one is the most profound. And I'm not searching for evidence to support my claim. So this is the most profound video I've seen so far, and I love this video because this guy uses the same logic that I came up with on my own just based on what I know about this government. And I'm only saying this because I just want to reduce some of the fear that you guys are having. Some of this fear is going to cause you more harm than it's going to cause you good. So this is important so that you can relax and that you can breathe and you can understand what's going on and how they're highlighting this thing and trying to make it seem like this is something that is new and is not going on in the United States. The United States doesn't go through deaths like this, and this is so new, and we need to do all of this. And these are numbers, don't lie. I don't care what nobody else says, numbers do not lie. And so they're using numbers, but they're using numbers against you. And numbers do not lie. Okay? So watch this.
Not be done. There were two main scientists that said this should not be done. The virus is not a naturally occurring phenomena. This is very important, and I'm going to show you evidence of that. So you need to be aware of this stuff. You need to be aware of the agenda. Don't be paralyzed by fear, because this is part and parcel of their agenda. The number of people that have died so far since January 1st, 2020 from the seasonal flu is 110,823. 110,000 from the seasonal flu. This is infectious. This is contagious. This is something.
110,000 since January. That must be worldwide because in the United States, from my research, it's January, February, March. It's 30,000. It's going on 30,000. And that's just from the flu. Okay? Now imagine they put the same scare around the flu. Oh my gosh, this many people contracted the flu. Oh my gosh, this many people are dying. Oh my gosh, this season is much so devastating. We need to shut everything down. Oh my gosh, the flu, the flu, the flu. But they're not. They don't need to because they understand that people are dying anyway. They're killing people anyway. You know, we'll just kill a little more. Let the man talk. I'm not even here to talk.
People catch from communicable diseases. Okay, these are diseases that can be transmitted from one individual to another individual. You're looking at 2,959,790. Now, this is just a hair under 3 million. This is again from January 1st, 2020 till today, which is early morning, March 24th. So you're talking about a cause of disease that people will catch from someone else, 16,758 that have died compared to 110,000. Again, 110,000 from just the seasonal flu and 2.9 million worldwide from any other type of communicable infectious disease process.
All right, so now to those who have already formed a belief in their head and already want to be argumentative and already want to have this cognitive dissonance, what do you say to the 2.9 million people that's died, and what do you say to the 110,000 from the flu? What do you say um, to them if they ask you, why didn't you care about us? Why didn't you protect us? Why didn't you have a mission to do whatever it takes, because it sounds like, you want to do whatever it takes to prevent the spread of this coronavirus. Why haven't you put that same energy into us? Ask yourself that. Ask them, answer that question to all those millions of dead people from disease, from contractable diseases, from transmittable diseases. What do you say to them? And how do you reconcile all of this now? Everything you know about coronavirus has been given to you by your so-called leaders. And they shouldn't be called your leaders. They should be called your representatives, because they represent you as a people. They just are representatives. They represent us. And guess what? They've been representing us in error for the last 2000. What is this, 2020? For the last 2,120 years, just about. Okay? So, let's carry on. Because y'all going to come up with all these other things as to why we need to ignore that. And there's the same, but there is an issue right now, and we need to deal with that issue. Because they told you to. Let's go.
This is the number died. This is the number that recovered, and most of these people, of the 102,000 that have recovered within 24 to 48 hours. It's been labeled as a bioweapon by some people, and of course the media, says that that's conspiracy theory, but let's look at the actual configuration of what this virus, what COVID-19 is. So the first thing is I want to say that this wasn't because people were eating bat soup, okay, or transferred from snakes or sloths or whatever they said. The virus is not a naturally occurring phenomena. This is very important, and I'm going to show you evidence of that. Now, this virus was actually created at the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill, and they published the highlights of the creation in November 2015. The list of scholars associated with this Frankenstein of a virus, you'll see, named Zheng Li Shi, who just happens to represent the key laboratory of special pathogens and biosafety, Wuhan Institute of Virology, Chinese Academy of Sciences, Wuhan, China. Now, Dr. Shi, she's a key figure here. In 2014, Dr. Shi was the recipient of a number of U.S. government grants, as well as grants from the National Basic Research Program of China, the Chinese Academy of Science, the National Natural Science Foundation of China, and from the Strategic Priority Research Program of Chinese Academy of Sciences to assist in funding research into coronaviruses. Now, this is, remember, 2015. The U.S. government paid Dr. Shi and the Chinese government to fund research into coronaviruses. This was published in November 12th, 2015, and this is actually the full article, the full research paper that was done. But what I want to do is I want to bring your attention to this March 2020 note that has been put there by the editors. And I want to read that first, then I'm going to go through the study, and then I want you to decide what this really means. So the editor's note before we start.
And see, as much as that last sentence is so profound and is so respectful, it's not going to work, because most people aren't going to use their own common sense to form an honest understanding and opinion of this stuff. They're still going to be using fear and they're still going to, like, they don't have the ability to do that. Once they've already been, the puppet masters already pulled the strings, like they can't do nothing else but what the puppet master tell them to do. And so I don't know how we can even cut the strings, but I guess one string with this video will do. We should cut maybe one or two strings.
Says, we are aware that this story is being used as a basis of unverified theories that the novel coronavirus causing COVID-19 was engineered. There is no evidence that this is true, scientists believe that an animal is the most likely source of the coronavirus. Now, it's obviously whoever wrote this, from the editor's note perspective, was either an idiot or doesn't understand the English language, but certainly wasn't a scientist, because I'm going to now show you what the study says. Remember, this is a warning now that they're putting here to dissuade people, to prevent them from actually looking at the science, to tell you that, look, the sky is not blue. Yeah, it looks blue to you, but it's not really blue. In November of 2015, an experiment that created a hybrid version of a bat coronavirus, one related to the virus that caused SARS, severe acute respiratory syndrome, as we discussed before, has triggered renewed debate over whether engineering lab variants of viruses with possible pandemic potential is worth the risk. This is the lead component, the first paragraph of the study that was published in Nature, probably one of the most respected journals in the world. So although almost all coronaviruses isolated from bats have not been able to bind to the key human receptor, which is this SHC014, which is the specific coronavirus we're talking about, was able to get into the human vector. So again, this is the study. This is what you see, reading the blue, and they're saying, whatever you see, it's not blue. Other experiments in the study show that the virus in the wild bats would need to evolve to pose any threat to humans. Okay, it would need to evolve, it would need to change, it would take time. A change that may never happen, although it cannot be ruled out. Barrick and his team reconstructed the wild virus, the naturally occurring form of the virus, from its genome sequence, and found that it grew poorly in human cell cultures and caused no significant disease in mice. Okay, so here you're looking at a virus, it's found in bats, it's very difficult for it to jump to humans. Once in a human, in human cell cultures, it just grew very poorly, and in the mouse model, it didn't cause any significant disease, all right? The only impact of this work is the creation in a lab of a new non-natural risk, agreed Richard Elbright, a molecular biologist and biodefense expert at Rutgers University in Piscataway, New Jersey. Why would you take a bug, a virus, a bacteria, and make it more potent? Right? What's the purpose of that? Well, they say it's for research purposes. But why would you do research to make something more potent? We absolutely must resist government run amok, taking advantage of a crisis. This is how your liberty dies. Stand up, America, and resist. Department of Justice seeks new emergency powers amid coronavirus pandemic. This is the issue. This is what we need to be afraid of, that they're going to use this false flag type of event, hype it up to take away more rights, more freedoms, and create mandatory actions that people have to do, from quarantine to even more sinister things that are coming down the pipeline. So you need to be aware of this stuff. You need to be aware of the agenda, all right? Don't be paralyzed by fear, because this is part and parcel of their agenda. The virus is a self-limiting virus. It seems to burn through. If your immune system is intact, it's not going to affect you. And if it does, it's going to be very, very transient. 24, 48 hours, most people get better.